restoring, recalibrating, and activating every cell within your being.
The Self Care Vortex Podcast with Melissa Kiss. You just entered a potent energy vortex. The next couple of minutes are for you to nurture all aspects of yourself. You have been guided here to remember to trust in yourself and the flow of life, to remember how to freely express all aspects of yourself. You are here right now in this moment to remember that you are enough. This is a safe and sacred space for transformation, personal growth, unconditional love, and radical transparency. I invite you to lose yourself in order to find your true self and step into your power. The Self Care Vortex is a warm, welcoming, and safe sanctuary where everyone is completely accepted, where you are completely accepted. Because we know how unique you are, and we know that you were born to make an impact in this world. And we look so forward for you to remember your magnificence. Each episode is a journey into yourself and the infinite possibilities of life. The path of deep inner and outer self-care will take you back to your soul essence, back to your purpose. Let the journey begin. Welcome to the tribe. See you on the other side. Aloha and welcome back to the Self Care Vortex Podcast and our interview episode, which means today we have another amazing guest here on the Self Care Vortex Podcast, and you're about to receive some potent codes, a lot of inspiration, a lot of raw, vulnerable, super transparent, real stories and shifts, because whenever we listen to someone else's story, something automatically, instantly shifts within our own experience, our way of thinking, our way of seeing the world. So today, I really invite you with an open heart and an open mind to just listen to this conversation, receive our powerful guest who has an amazing story, who is really sharing amazing, powerful tools with the world to really take care of ourselves, of people, of our bodies, of our mind, everything. Really becoming aware of whatever is around us and affecting us so that we can actually feel good and free and empowered. And there are a lot of things that you might have never thought about looking at. Oh, yeah, I just do that because I was used to do that. But, I never thought that could be a bad thing or not really supportive in a way. So we get into that and many other things later. And just if you hear some background sounds, I'm actually having the amazing honor to be in Greece right now on a vacation, which usually ends up being my most creative phase ever because I just soak up the sun during the day and then I sit down and create, which I'm extremely grateful for. And I decided to go outside. So you receive the potent, I'm on a volcano island. So the energy here is insane, absolutely insane, which perfectly fits to today's guest, which honestly, in my phone, she's called Mary Peru Goddess. And that's how I'm going to call her today because she's a total goddess. We met in Peru on a powerful retreat, a goddess retreat, really. And I don't know, there was just this instant connection. She was the first person I met prior to the retreat in the little town where we were both staying a couple of days early to the retreat. And it is incredible since then. It has been, 2.5 years that we first met and so much changed. And even talking about the last 2.5 years is like a potent transformation, but there's so much more that we dive into. So Mary, thank you so much for making the time and coming in here, joining the tribe and sharing your beautiful goddess vibes with us. Aloha.
Hello. I love that introduction. Mary Peru Goddess. I love it. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here and just sharing this amazing vortex with you. So thank you so much for inviting me to do this.
I'm so excited that you're here, truly. I think that's something so special when we have such a deep connection to people and then we get to create together and the things, sharing the things that we're so passionate about, because often we forget about that. We're totally supportive about the other people, but often forget. So for everyone listening also, become aware of the people that are so close to you that you can play with and create with, So I'm super grateful that you're here. So where do we start? There are so many things. Well, what do you want to say?
No, just thinking the first day that we met, you remember going up those stairs in Cusco, and first day we were together, I threw up. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I need.
That's a very good start. That's where we start.
That was amazing. With the altitude situation, literally 5 hours into knowing you, you were there supporting me while I was just throwing up, because I don't even know what happened that day, but it just came to me now. I'm like, wow, so much has happened since that day.
Yeah, so much. Yeah, it's really for everyone not knowing that Cusco, Mary lives in Miami, so from living really literally by the sea to going up there with the altitude is a big shift. And yeah, I think we were just we were in this amazing cafe with the special water. I think they had Kangen water back there, even the alkaline water, and this amazing chocolate, peanut something or almond things, and the most cutest little cafe. And yeah, then we were just going up the stairs. And it was really steep, but then, you weren't feeling well already. And it's so beautiful that you remember that now. I haven't thought about that moment in a long time. However, I think that is something so profound, because isn't it when we hear that, we threw up in front of someone that we barely know, most of us are probably embarrassed. Maybe some of you listening were like, oh my God, I would have been so embarrassed doing that or seeing that or being there, kind of. But there's nothing embarrassing about it. It's just really nature. And then we get to support the other person, because I was feeling good. I was kind of dealing with the altitude really good. And there was, in that moment, any kind of embarrassment between the two of us was out of the window. We started really on this amazing energy of okay, that's me. Who are you?
For real.
So, Mary, who are you? Who are you? Let the tribe know. So now you even broke the ice for them, You're fully vulnerable and open with, I threw up right away. That's how we got to know. So people know you're the real deal.
It is. Wow.
Open for it all.
Who am I? Wow. Put it on spot.
Isn't that a beautiful question?
I'm a normal girl. Yeah, I don't like using the word normal. I would say I'm average. I like being the same as everyone. And I'm just someone that had a deep awakening, a hard one. I was one of those that had that. I was up against the cliff and God just pushed me off and was like, trust. And ever since that awakening, I've just have changed so much and just opened up in connecting to myself, my higher self, my inner child. I am definitely a child at heart. I love playing. I love goofing around. I love connecting with joy and love. But I am a starseed. I definitely know that. And this awakening has helped me to realize my mission and my purpose here, which is to share my story, share my awakening, and really plant these seeds of love and worthiness in everyone that I meet. That's how I feel like I'm a seed planter. And eventually it'll grow and they come back to me like, wow, well, this made sense. And I just love life. I love love and really loving and living passionately, like really feeling it in my core. I'm all about feeling and really, to that physical level that I'm like, wow, yes, this is really what I'm supposed to be doing. But so yeah, that's me. I'm here to change the world. I signed up for this.
Casually here to change the world. I love that you're saying it because that's what it is. And really saying it, like fully owning it, is so freaking powerful. Because there are a lot of you. I know. I can feel you listening. Be like, I kind of know that that's my purpose too, but it sounds so huge. And honestly, with what I do, am I really changing the world? The answer is yes. But Mary, do you want to talk to that a little more? Because I think also for you, it took some time to really own that. Oh yeah, actually I'm here to change the world, or, to birth this new way of living here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like in the world that we live today, where there's just so many opinions and just, I feel like we are misguided. I love to just share my perspective, plant that seed of, I'm not just telling you, well, this is my belief, and this is what you should believe. But I'm just planting the seed so you could go and do your research, so you could go within and see what resonates with you. I share my story of how I identify things that resonate with me. And, I want people to know that they could research, there's more out there, and see what resonates with them. And maybe the truth that they're holding, it's their truth. And that's perfectly fine. And now it resonates with you even more that, that's your real truth. That's your real purpose. But yeah, that's basically how I'm sharing that.
I love that.
And
that's so powerful. And I think that's also a great reminder. I mean, we kind of know that we're out of this whole guru era. We need the one person that tells us whatsoever, and really being guides or inspirations and understanding. That's why I love to phrase it. Everything that we're sharing here on the Self Care Vortex, everything that Mary is sharing and everyone else, are keys that you can access and open up a door within yourself. It takes you to somewhere else, something within you that you haven't seen yet, that reminds you more of who you are. And yet I myself sometimes, I find myself fascinated by other people and be like, oh my God, I want to do this, or that is so, how do they do that? Or, sometimes we feel small, sometimes we don't feel enough. Sometimes we feel like, oh yeah, but that's a little too big. And I feel, Mary, you're like, yeah, you have. That's why I don't know, the whole Mary Peru goddess name thing came through, because you really embody that. Like when you ever meet Mary, it's like you radiate this power and this groundedness. And it's like, okay, that's me. There's no shame. I mean, right away, I threw up when we met. Like, there is no freaking shame, because shame is a freaking illusion. There's only a very grounded, heart-centered power when I see you or meet you, which is very powerful.
Well, thank you. That's my triple Earth that I have. Actually, it's double Earth, and then I have an Earth and Venus. But yes, I love that you honed into that, because I know I struggled with not knowing, like, how do I go within? And, I'm not this spiritual person. I'm not a healer. And, we have all these stigmas in our head that we're not these quote unquote people that we're supposed to be in order to be spiritual and go within. And I want to really eradicate that stigma and know that, quote unquote, the normal person, the everyday corporate person could really be this spiritual person as well. Where, it's mostly learning how to dive in to, the steps to do it. I was one of those, like, I need to know exactly how to do things. And some people are like that. And I do have some tips on going within and really just tapping into this beautiful world within us that where all the answers are. We're always looking externally for things, and it's all within us. And I will share some tips on how to go within and just hone from that, and then just it expands. Then you just let your intuition take you, and you start doing things just naturally, where you're like, I've never done this before, but I've done this before. So you basically start remembering.
I love that. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit? Because I think that's a feeling. And I know, when we're listening, like sometimes, that's what they call talent. I'm just talented in that. and that's why it feels so second nature. But what do you see in that, really, when you say we're starting to remember things when they feel so familiar, even though we might have never done them this lifetime?
Yes. It's basically you are just remembering who you are. Like, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Like, that's the number one thing that people need to remember, because that's the real truth. That's my truth, that for me, that resonates, that we are these spiritual beings. And when you start thinking like that, all these beautiful synchronicities start to happen. And I feel like my higher self has designed different things, has left like little clues in my life that as I go untapping it, I'm like, oh my God, this is so real. This is so real. Like, for instance, when my awakening started, the number 11 means that when you start seeing it so much, 11, that's when your awakening is really starting and you're on the right path. And my birthday is May 6th, 5/6. That's 11. My birth year is 83. 8 plus 3 is 11. The house that I grew up in as my childhood house from ever is 7411. So it's 1111. So all these synchronicities started happening, and it's little clues that my higher self purposely put into my life that as I started taking this path, I'm like, oh my God, yes. Oh, wow, yes. Like, it just started making sense for me. And then I just took it from there and just really start trusting. The trust comes in, trusting that what you're feeling, what you're seeing, and mostly what you're feeling it's right. It's something that it is what you think it is. And sometimes we are like, well, that's too spiritual for me. I'm not going to be feeling these things. Like, really, is this really happening to me? Yes. And it's really just tapping into it and taking away that stigma of like, is this really happening? And just hone into that feeling. Does it feel right? Compare it to other things in your life that feel right. The love for your mom, the love for your family, and just compare it to those like, wow, okay, that feels, familiar. I could understand this. And just really letting go of all like those like stereotypes or like what ifs and, all those things that kind of hinder from you to connect. It's hard. But with practice, you'll be feeling it. And then it just flows. And when things start like happening, like, you seeing the numbers, like I know everybody sees them, like, what do they mean? Eventually you are going to know what they mean, depending on what you're going through life. And it just connects. It's just something that it resonates within you. And if physically, because I'm somebody like, I need to feel it physically, you feel like a little vibration in your heart. Very subtle, but you feel it like when you hone into it, you're like, oh, this feels right. And there is a physical feeling in that. It's very subtle, but it is a physical feeling, which I sometimes need that physical assurance to know like, wow, it's real. And just going within. Yeah, just going within. What I like to do is in my meditations, I close my eyes. And I picture myself in the back of like my throat, right where that little hanging ball is. I'm like standing right there, or maybe I could even hang from it. And then I just dive deep into my body and go straight into my stomach. Because, I believe that that's where the portal that we have inside of us to connect to that higher realm is. So I physically see myself going in there. And knowing that as I'm going there, the magic is just going to happen, and then surrendering and allowing it. Stop making it happen, because we're like, okay, I'm going in, then I'm going to see this. Like, no. Once you take that dive, surrender. And surrendering means just repeating to yourself, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender, and hone in into that thought and just go with it. And that's a great little tip that I have to really go within, quote unquote.
I love that. I love that because I resonate a lot with that, that I need a physical reassurance in some way. And I know a lot of other people are doing as well, as we are, as you said earlier, human beings, making this human experience as spiritual beings. And especially in the beginning, you feel safe. Like that is your language, everything that you can physically see with your two eyes, that you can touch, that you can feel in some way. Plus, most of us are not really trained to really, really feel. So what I love that you said earlier, you can feel this vibration. You can feel something in your heart. And what you said even before that, I want to bring that back for a moment because I think that's something extremely powerful. Because sometimes maybe you're like, okay, but what am I feeling there? Like, what am I supposed to feel there? I think that's fear, I think that's doubt. Like, comparing it to how you feel when you think of your parents or someone that you love, like this feeling, this emotion. I think that's somehow how you said it. You can totally correct me if it was different. But yeah, go ahead. Just say that again. And share it again. I think it's so powerful. We give it a little bit more space because I think really when I think back, like, okay, but when I was starting to differentiate between my ego, between fear and all of that, and my actual inner voice, my intuition, my inner knowing, that's exactly what was so challenging. And I think that's an extremely powerful bridge between the both, because between, your physical being and your spiritual being.
Agreed. And that's the one thing that we have here in this physical world, at least for me, it resonated with me, that I knew for sure that there's no doubts about it. It's 1000%. It's the love for my family, and it could be the love for your kids, the love for your partner, the love for, anything that resonates with you, that it's really unconditional love. And as I'm saying that, I feel it in my heart, and really just tapping into that feeling in the physical world, that love for your mom, for your parents, and then comparing it to, when going with it and feeling those things that are coming up that you don't know if it's real or not, and just compare, does it make my heart, vibrate when I think about love and the love that I feel for, in this physical world. And that's kind of the connection there, that it's, for me, that what I've experienced, it's the same type of vibration, and it all comes back to love, love is everything. And love is the most powerful feeling that we have. So I think that's the best one to use in this scenario, to see, compare that physical love to then that vibration that we're trying to feel, to see if something resonates with us, it's the right thing.
I love that so much. So if you really want to practice that, really sit down and feel into how it feels when you think about the people that you love. Really become aware of how is that actually feeling. Because when your soul purpose is calling you, you're going to feel that. And then instantly your ego recognizes that and brings up all the guards, all the fear, the coping mechanisms, everything to protect itself. Because when our soul purpose knocks on the door, or our soul in our next, stage of evolution, it's going to be scary because it's going to mean change. And our ego, as we all know, doesn't like that. So it'll try everything to make you believe that that is not normal, that it's not good, that it's not safe, all the things. And tune into your heart. You'll know. That is... Mary, I love that. I'm obsessed with that. I want to do a whole thing just around that, because we know what love feels like. We know this connection. We cannot explain it in words. Not really. We can feel it in our body, in our hearts. And that's the same thing when we connect to our soul, because it's not something that we can actually touch, but we know. There's no, I need a study for that or an expert that tells me. No, you know.
Exactly. And I love that you touched into talking about your ego. And that's going to be our biggest hinder, and what stops us from that connection is our ego, and not in a bad way. It's just trying to protect us. It doesn't understand what's going on. And when it doesn't recognize it, it goes into protection mode. And it's also giving your ego love and letting them know, trust me on this. Thank you for protecting me and for going on this warrior, I know you have my back and I love you for that, but, trust me on this. Let's just see where it goes. That's what I tell my ego. Let's see where it goes. And if it gets too uncomfortable for you, then that's okay. I trust your boundaries, but little by little, let's get through this. Let's break through it because I know that it's going to be the best for you. And I want you to trust me on that. But let's go on this journey together and really just honing in on love, and sharing that with your ego. So it understands that vibration as well. And just feels, eventually becomes familiar and they just don't have that resistance anymore. And then, when you go into that state, they're like, oh yeah, we're about to go on vacation. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So also giving love to your ego, because it does, it just, they're there to protect you. Like, how amazing is that?
It's a powerful tool. The way I love to talk about the ego is I see it as a little kid, maybe even very connected to our inner child sometimes, because, the ego is created to be a tool for us. And for most of us, it is the tool took over us and like is protecting us, is making all the decisions. And it was put in a role that was never supposed to be in. And it was probably struggling massively in the beginning. So it became super strong, like very much in this masculine energy of like really tough, very protective, like very all these things. And now this powerful feminine energy comes in and, like feeling and flowing. And we don't need all the structure. And the ego is like, wait, hold on. I was freaking saving your entire life, and now we do what? I think it's like, it's like this cute little kid which needed to be a warrior and needed to be strong, and now we're like, oh no, let's play. And the little kid was never taught how to play because we had never had a chance to. And now we're like, nah. So I love that.
True. But then just allowing them to play, and then they get used to it and they're like, wow, I kind of like this. Because
after some time, it makes sense, following the weird thing, making the decisions that don't make any sense for how we used to live our life or for a lot of people around us. It's this transition phase is so interesting, especially when we look into the people that we actually really love, sticking to what we were talking about earlier. Sometimes they really don't get it. And they are also scared. They're afraid that, I don't know, something might happen because we make this super weird, let's just call it weird, decisions.
Just out of the norm, quote unquote. I hate using the word normal, but I like to say average, like, average in a sense of like everybody's feeling in the same way. But yeah, I totally agree. And it's just stepping out of that comfort zone and surrendering and trusting. It all goes back to like very simple things. Like we could talk about this over and over, and then when we go back, it's like, well, as long as you trust and surrender and with love, everything will work out. It's always kind of the same solution. Not almost, it's always the same solution. It really is. It all goes back to that love.
Freaking sucks sometimes. Yourself, I'm going to be really honest. But sometimes, because, the longer you go down this path, you're like, I know, I should just trust and surrender. And it's happening for a reason. I'm fully enjoying it. What do you do during these times? Because I remember, a little story. When we met, I know you were kind of like, also in the midst of shifting also your diet, your way of eating a little bit. And you're like, after work, I just don't have time. I think you were going to McDonald's, if I recall that right. From time to time, you're feeling really bad about it, knowing that it was not really good, but also here and there. And like you shifted so much from that point where you're like kind of hanging on to it. You're like, but it kind of tastes good. It's kind of just simple. All the reasons why you chose to do it back then. And now you're like, oh no, like there's a whole other way to take care of this physical vessel. So do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I think as far as I see it from the outside, moving through that, making these changes in the physical world, taking care of yourself on a physical level, your body and your mind through meditation, all of that allowed you to trust yourself because all of a sudden you get to know yourself on a whole new way or level.
Yes. Food, like we are what we eat. Like I want to start with that. And when we are eating these like low vibrational foods like processed food. And, I mean, for me personally, I'm vegan now, and I literally became vegan after a plant ceremony and, from our retreat, and I've never looked back ever since. It just resonated with me. It was that vibration of love within me. And that's why I'm like, it has been the easiest thing for me to be vegan. And it's not about not eating meat and fish. It's about like nourishing your body, these plant-based like Pachamama food that really helps to intune you to that inner self. The reason I became vegan was for spiritual purposes. I've been like, I meditate, I'm doing the dive in, I'm trying to hone in into that love and seeing where it comes. And I just kept hitting a wall and kept hitting a wall. And like, why is this not happening if I'm doing all the steps? And as ayahuasca showed me, it's all these processed food are really just hindering and just lowering your vibration, and you're not able to feel that love vibration that you're trying to feel. It's because this food is inside of you and it's not letting that energy flow within you. So as I shifted my diet, all this mucus came out of me, like literally for a month. I was just like releasing mucus and mucus and mucus, which I saw that I'm like, wow, this is real. All this other food was, putting all this mucus inside of me and calcifying, my pineal gland. And, I felt it in a physical level because that's what I needed. That's me. But definitely shifting what I put in my body has changed 1,000%, this connection that I have within. And it's, for me, it's been a game changer. Everybody has a different experience, but just being more plant-based, is my recommendation. If you still want to eat meat, that's fine. No judgment. But incorporating more plant-based into your diet and get away from the processed food, guys. Like, I love McDonald's and I miss it. Sometimes I do. I'm not going to lie. But there's so much other yummier food out there. And I know that sometimes I need to choose what's going to be better for me. And there are choices in life that, it sucks. But it's not like I'm going to go hungry. I still have food to eat. I could eat a plant-based burger. So it's really like what you do put into your body will affect you into this connection spiritually. It's really going to enhance it. For me, that was like a game changer. Becoming vegan, and literally becoming vegan overnight just shifted my energy, and my spirituality just leveled up after that shift. So, that's my experience. But I know from other people, my friends that are vegan, it just really, it makes a difference. Just putting that plant-based. We need plant-based. We need that Pachamama inside of us to really have that whole connection, bring it all into fruition, bring it all to a circle. Like we have the spirituality, we're breathing, we're connecting, we're going within, we're feeling the vibration. Your vessel is clean because you have this plant-based food inside of you that enriches every organ of your body, every cell of your body. And then now you have everything in line to get to that higher realm that, you're searching for.
I love that you say, of course.
Sorry, I got a little deep there.
Oh no, that's what we're here for. Never ever be sorry for who you are. Adios, old story. Because we're enough. And we're taking up all the space that we need. All the space. Awesome. And I love, we all love listening because it's really profound. I love the way you talk about that because there are so many opinions, on food and spirituality, the connection, on veganism, on plant-based food, on blah, blah, blah. Right now, within the past year or so many people that were known for being vegan for such a long time that have been really judgmental around non-vegans have started to integrate, meat or milk or whatever back into their diet. And I think that's why I love you said, there is no judgment. Just try to implement more plants. And I love that you're talking so much around vibrations, right? There's a reason why we have every Sunday the sound journeys on the podcast, because everything is a vibration. Everything has a vibration. And different foods have different vibrations. And vegan is not necessarily healthy. It's not the same thing. Because you can eat vegan and eat like just really bad low vibrational food.
Yeah.
That's also something really important to say. And, you know, whatever you choose to do, come back to what Mary shared earlier, feeling your heart. Is that resonating on that level? Because even with food, I love food. I freaking love food. You know, Mary's laughing because when I get hungry, it's like, ooh, run. I'll give me food.
We're not feeding your vessel, we're feeding your soul. And like your soul's like, I need that right now.
Yeah. And it's hilarious because I love fasting. I love it. I have no struggle with that whatsoever. But when I expect, and there you see the power of the mind and expectations, right? When I expect to get food and it's not working out the way I want to, I'm like being, not very patient. However, what I really want to say is like, tune into your heart again. What food feels right? Because we are all so different. I deeply believe that, having been a nutritionist for a long time and personal trainer, like there is no this one way of eating, this one way of working out. And still there are certain things, plants, and the variety of plants that we have on this planet, they hold different vibrations and they have a really high vibration. And so many codes. I love to see it as codes. That's why I also love to say, make sure your plate, whatever you're eating, is pretty colorful. Because then you get a lot of different nutrients, a lot of different codes, and your body needs a whole bunch of things. So many different things. And even plant-based might not be the solution if that's not your body. And that's totally fine. So don't get caught up. That's what I see often. Like, do I need to become plant-based to, do all of that? I'm like, I don't know you and your body. You can try, feel into it. And, Mary, you're like, I did it and I feel amazing. And I mean, I'm plant-based too. However, I'm also very open around if I would ever really crave, I don't know. Just recently, I was thinking about salmon. I'm like, do you want to have fish? I don't know. And then I was like, for me, it's super important. Where is it coming from? What did happen? Blah, blah, blah. Like the whole background sort of thing. I'm like, okay, I cannot find that out, so I don't want to do it. However, just feel into it. Basically, whatever you're doing in your life.
And not neglecting it.
Go back to what Mary shared. Think about your parents, whoever you really love, and this connection in your heart. And then check in with your food, with any products that you're putting on or in your body, whether that's medicine, whether that's, I don't know, shampoo, lotions. Being here by the sea right now, I see so many people putting those sun lotions on their bodies. And I'm like, first of all, I'm so sorry for their bodies. And then they go in the water and then I'm so sorry for the coral reefs and the fish and the entire life in the ocean. And that's something we need to become really aware of. And I think that's something we're really good at, Mary, as well, because you have this deep shift as well, like basically from McDonald's to plant-based and like fresh, amazing, alive food, but also with everything else. The more we dive into the spirituality and this reconnect, remember that we are more than our physical body and being, we need to see it all and what effect it has on us. So how was that journey for you there? What kind of tips do you have? Because aside from food, which is often the most obvious one.
So I read a book that actually, I forgot who shared it with me. It's called Jesus Mastership, and it's supposed to be this priest that channeled Jesus in the 1980s. And it's Jesus kind of telling his story, his Bible, not from Joseph, not from the other apostles, but from himself. And what's beautiful about this book, he talks about his journey, because usually the Bible is from when he was born, then he left, and then when he came back, when he was 33, back to Jerusalem. So that in between, we still don't know where he went. And based on this this book that I read, it resonated with me. Like in my heart, I was like, yes, this is Jesus. This is talking about his journey. And he was basically normal, just like us. I know he was immaculate conception, but other than that, Jesus was normal. Jesus was a normal dude, went to India, and that's where he had his masters. And he really went on this deep transformation of becoming Jesus, where he learned Reiki, where he learned to go within and letting go of all these temptations. And one thing that resonated with me, and I read this book right when I became vegan, is as his spirituality and he became more connected within, all these like cravings to have meat and burgers and fish, like he didn't feel that anymore. Like it was just something that naturally like stripped away from him. And I had the same experience. Like I naturally, like I love cheeseburgers from McDonald's, but slowly I wasn't craving them anymore because my body just didn't resonate with that vibration anymore. It did at one point, but not anymore. And I guess because my vibration was so high, I'm having these like high vibes food that wouldn't even come to my thought. It wasn't even, the vibration wasn't even enough to come into my thought and craving it. So that's a beautiful thing. And I think a lot of people experience that as you start becoming more spiritual, like just gradually and naturally, you start shifting away from these meat products and dairy. And it's just something that happens naturally. And the fact that Jesus had the same thing, I'm like, wow. You know, like he went through temptation. He went through different obstacles and tests that these masters, put him through. And some he failed. He's like, I'm human. I failed at some things, but eventually, as you go practicing it, it just becomes natural and you master it. So what's the next thing, So it's a beautiful book that it's hard to find. I think it's just the whole stigma that like, how can Jesus be writing his own Bible?
What's it called again?
Jesus Mastership.
Oh, Jesus Mastership. Okay. Love it. Yeah, that sounds super interesting. I actually have an episode on the podcast that's called What You Might Not Know About Osho and Jesus. I think it's very triggering. But there are so many things. It was just really an episode to maybe shift the perspective on people like that and stories and stories and people where we're so focused on that's how it was. Like, who's that? Who says that? Okay, we have these books, we have these stories, but that's really what it is. So just being open, staying open to the possibility that it might have been totally different. We weren't there. Maybe we were.
Exactly. No, but based on this, and this book was written in the 80s when being vegan wasn't even so much talked about. But yeah, like I feel like Jesus was one of the first vegans, and I loved it just resonated with me as his spirituality grew, how that just started shifting away those temptations, because that's what I feel sometimes when I have those cravings is temptation. Like, are you going to,
I love
go
that.
for it, or you're not? So it's another type of like, I lost the word, but one of the trials, like one of these things that you have to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
And, and if you could overcome food cravings, you could really overcome anything, because food is one of the hardest things to really like say, I'm not going to eat that. And then you just give into it. Like, oh, what do you mean? I'm not going to eat this. Like, especially when I tell my dad, I'm like, I'm fast or I'm not eating this. He's like, what, are you doing this on purpose? He goes, we left Cuba, because we weren't having food over there. Now you're purposely choosing not to eat. I'm like, yes, Dad, but it means something else. But, so yes, I think that it's just a beautiful thing too.
And I love that you brought that up again, because, the connection between, all of a sudden, I just didn't feel it anymore. And whenever our vibration, our energy is changing, really on a DNA cellular level, a lot of things change. We might crave different foods. We might all of a sudden like different things to do, or how we spend our free time, or how we want to work, or where we want to go to, or who we want to be surrounded by. So many things are really changing. And for me, it was almost kind of the other way around a little bit. It was like all of a sudden, I became at that time, it was really the shift where I was like freeing myself from a lot of, expectations and things in my life. And I started just craving meat. I'm like, wow, I moved to New York back then. And I'm like, I haven't eaten a burger in 3 months. And I love burgers. So of course, in the evening, I got a burger and it just didn't taste good anymore. I'm like, what's that? So I was, over the next couple of days, I was eating all the meat things that I love to eat and they were not tasting good anymore. And I'm like, weird. And then a lot of other shifts happened. And looking back, in that year, so much changed. And that was really the beginning of my awakening, where for me, I needed to see the physical shifts that were irritating me, also the way I like to work out and all these things. And that just made me more aware of myself. And I was trying out things and started really be more mindful simply because my body was changing and I didn't understand it on a cognitive level. My brain was like, what's happening here? Mm-hmm. And that kind of unconsciously pushed me into a mindfulness practice and really, really helped me to wake up, so to speak, whatever that means. That's a whole other story. Mm-hmm. Whatever that really means, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that. Yeah. It's just, you just start seeing it doesn't resonate with you anymore. And maybe it'll resonate later on in life, who knows? Nobody's here to tell the future. Exactly. Yeah. But at that moment, you're listening to your body. That's one thing that, changing my eating habits has done for me, that I am more connected to my body. When something just doesn't feel right, like we eat something and we get a stomach ache, we're like, oh, it was just bad food. Let me just go to the bathroom and it's okay. No, like hone into that. And I kind of apologize to my body. Like, I'm so sorry I put this inside of you and you're reacting this way to it. Yes. And just really hear her out and to like, well, Mary, it's not that it's meat. It's because, it's kind of processed, the place that it came from, the person that cooked it, the vibrations were not the best. It's just so many other factors that go into like
this. Yes. I love that you're bringing that up. That excites me so much. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so important.
It comes back to,
it's not normal to have a stomach ache after you eat, or feeling really tired, or feeling weird, or whatever it is. It's not, that is your body telling you something is not in alignment. And tune in.
Great.
As you said, Mary, like, I love that. So important. And that, call yourself spiritual or not, it doesn't even matter. I see most people just being like, oh yeah, I'm feeling a little tired now. Oh yeah, I feel weird now, but that's normal. I'm like, what do you mean? I have that too sometimes, but then I look into it and I, usually find out where it's from. So, so important. And that's also, funny enough, a super powerful practice to practice your spirituality and connection to your intuition, because you're tuning inwards. You're listening to your body. You're listening to this inner voice about something that's very tangible, your body, right? It's almost like a little spiritual practice, which is super powerful. I love that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And it's, now in my head, I have 3 voices. I have my regular ego. I have my higher self. And then now I've learned to identify my body's voice as well.
Wow.
When it's, talking about that, like food, I'm like, okay, yeah, I know, I'm so sorry. And it's a completely different voice. And I've learned to hone into that and just really like, I'm so sorry. Cause sometimes I do, and I make mistakes every day and I overdo it on one thing. But then I apologize to my body and I rectify it. And I see the physical consequence of it. When you have a really bad stomach ache and it just stops you from living your life at that moment because you're honing into a stomach ache or, trying to release this, that you should have not put in your body in the first place. So
yeah, we learn from that. Really, I mean, that's how we learn, basically, most of the time. And it gets, I don't want to say better, but in the beginning, we start eating things like, oh, that doesn't feel good, so we leave them away. Sometimes we don't even know what it is, and then I go in the grocery store or on the market, and I just kind of look at the food. Sometimes I put my hand over it, want to grab it, and my body gives me a no. I'm like, okay, cool, then nod. I'm not even thinking about it anymore because I learned to trust that. And then on the other hand, I have this beautiful grocery list. And I go in there and I'm like, oh no, I want to have carrots today. And I buy a bunch of carrots. I'm like, how can I even eat them? But my body is craving whatever it is in this carrots that it's needing. So I'm like, okay, that's such a beautiful thing. And then sometimes, you crave things and you're like, oh, that was not that good. What was I craving actually? Is there
Exactly.
What is behind that?
Crave, it's all honed into an emotion. Like what is triggering this craving? I've been doing fasting lately, and that's helped me connect even more with my body. And I realized that one of the main persons that, just handles my food and controls it is my inner child. That's why sometimes I ate like a child. Like I wanted McDonald's and French fries and like all these little kid stuff and chocolate cake. And I've learned so she needs comfort. She doesn't feel like she's being loved or feels that comfort. So this food comforts her. And in turn, it comforts me. And just toning into like, well, I don't need this bad food to comfort her. I've learned to, once I identify that she's the one running the show, me personally, I just try to connect more with my inner child. And I do have once a week chocolate vegan cake. That's my thing. And that's the reward that I give my inner child for being such a good girl all week. And really like every time I say, no, that's not good to eat. She's like, okay, I'll wait till Saturday till we have that chocolate cake. Like literally, like that's how I'm here to whoever could hear me. Like, who are you talking to? I'm like, my inner child inside of me, this little girl that lives there that is telling me what to eat. And I'm just trying to negotiate with her and you're literally negotiating with a little kid. So you got to get down to that level of like, look, trust me on this. On Saturday, we're going to have that cake. And because all extremes are bad. That's one thing for me. And like sometimes you have to have like a cheat day or something that just makes you feel good. It may not be the best for your body, but you're not overdoing it, and you're in whatever you need to fulfill that it's craving that you're kind of feeding it in a way that it's good. It's not like, well, I'm giving you cheeseburgers or whatever it is. But yeah, but just learning to connect with that and just rewarding my inner child at the end of the week, that has helped me tremendously.
I love that. Yeah. Also, see, I love that's perfectly to just show that everyone has their own way of doing that. I eat something sweet every single day. Like whether that's cake or ice cream, but I learned over time because I just love sweet things. I have such a sweet tooth. And it's, but for me, it's like, there's no sugar in it. Like it's sweeter with dates or banana or whatever, or maybe sometimes honey. But even that, and also I learned to differentiate. Like when I eat a cake, I can tell whether it's sugar, whether it's honey, whether it's dates. I taste it. I was not able to taste the difference. I was just like, okay, it's sweet. That's it.
No, it's
true. Or like cacao, it doesn't have to be overly sweet. I just love, or maybe sometimes it's fruits and almond butter. I don't know what it is, but I love it. And then my brother, for example, he just doesn't get it. He's like, I don't know. I don't need something sweet. I'm like, who are you? Who are you? And then you like, oh no, I do it once a week. Like that's what feels for me good right now. And I'm like, yeah, see, so we're all, that's why it's so important to listen, to tap in. I love that. Wow. That was so powerful. And I feel we need to do another episode because there are so many things that we didn't even touch upon as usual. Yeah. But that's a really powerful one. Thank you so much. Like really this tool to differentiate between, okay, is that my inner voice or is it just some kind of craving or some kind of whatever it is? How does the love to someone that you love feel? It's the same feeling in your heart. Because when your soul tells you something, it comes from unconditional love. That's why you feel unconditional love in that moment. And then the way, all these perspectives around food and nutrition and that, it is building our bodies. And when we go down this spiritual path more and more, so even when you're listening, no matter where you are on the path, it doesn't matter. But we're still humans. So either that might be a beautiful reminder for you to get more into your body again and connect more to your body again, because you have been doing so much spiritual work that sometimes, we get a little bit out of balance, which is natural. Or if you're just starting out or having these weird cravings and you don't know where to put them, like, it might be your soul calling you to change. So that is super, super powerful. I love that.
Yes. And even journaling, when those feelings are coming up, just really quick, I wanted to touch on that journaling, it has helped me a lot too. Like, why am I craving cake on a Wednesday night at 10 o'clock at night? Like, why is this happening? And journaling has, made me, has come out like the real truth, it's some type of stress or anxiety or, lack of worthiness. It's been so many different things that just trigger that. So just know that when we have those cravings, it's all attached to some type of unprocessed emotion that needs to be processed. And it's just trying to get comfort by food. But we need to understand like what is triggering it. So journaling is another big one that I do recommend as well. That's helped me, and I struggle with it, but it does work out. Like, it works.
I love that. And it's also so powerful to help to really also, again, differentiate. Is it an emotional, is there an emotional root behind this craving? Or maybe I just don't have all the nutrients that I need. Sometimes it's really that. Like, I look at it really from a nutrient standpoint in our soil. I'm praying that it changes, but most of our lands are so depleted from energy. So even if you buy organic and all the things, we might not get all the nutrients in there. And sometimes it might be a call for that also. But when you're so in touch with what Mary, what you were just saying, like really being aware and like, okay, I have this craving. Where's it coming from? You'll know. You'll just know. And very often, it is actually, I just want to feel good about something or whatever it is. So thank you for that tool. That's super powerful. So talking about inner child, we're coming to the end. And by the end, we're inviting the most important person of the entire podcast, little Mary. Who is she?
Oh, gosh.
Who is little Mary? Do you want to bring her in?
Yes, she's me at 5 years old, with pigtails, rambunctious, and like really wild kid that I had the privilege. I was born in Venezuela and I grew up there until I was 6, and then came to the US, which was a completely different lifestyle of like playing outside. And every time I would come home, I'm like bleeding from somewhere. But wow. She was fearless. She's fearless. She's a warrior. I have a brother, so I always hung out with boys. My mom thought, I was like a super tomboy. But she knows what she wants. She's not afraid to speak up, and she does everything with joy. Because even if she does something bad, she'll like laugh and be like, "Sorry," but she knew it was bad. Afterwards, she felt bad, but it's still like she still has joy in her heart. So that is little Mary.
I love that. Thank you for bringing her in.
Yeah, she's excited too. She likes the attention.
I guess I can feel it. I can feel it. Who doesn't love that? So is there anything that you love to tell little Mary right now? Is there any message that comes through right now?
It goes back to our conversations when we just catch up of just really, as you're going through this awakening process, and still like some of us are pretty advanced in this awakening, but just believe in yourself, trust in yourself, that when you're asking what the emotion is triggering and what you're writing down, trust that is the real reason that's coming out. Like, just really believe and trust in yourself. And you may be wrong sometimes, don't get me wrong, but trust and believe in yourself and in your powers. Like, we all are radiant beings that have so many beautiful powers that some of us are not born with it activated. but we all have it within us. And they start like activating as you go within. And trust it. Just trust the process, trust yourself, and do everything with love.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. So when you look at Mary 1 year ago, where you were in your life, is there a message for this version of yourself? Because we so often look into the inner child, but even within a year, life can change a lot.
It's true. And I guess within a year ago is when I really started trusting myself. A lot had already happened in my awakening that I'm like, wow, all these synchronicities and physical synchronicities. I'm like, wow, I can't make this up. This is really happening. But, telling her now it's thank you for trusting, quote unquote, but trust more. Now really, really like just surrender and trust. You know who you are, and keep remembering who you are. Keep that coming into you, and you're going to have these different thoughts coming in. Trust them. And this is all part of the path, and just trust the journey. I know sometimes it looks like it ended. You're in a roadblock, but just trust it. Just coming that's like my higher self talking to me.
I love it. So powerful. So powerful. Simple and powerful. That's the magic.
It really is. That's the beauty of it, of this whole awakening, processing all these feelings. Every feeling that I've ever needed to process, an emotion that or trauma or, fighting demons inside of me, it all went back to one simple little thing. Remembering who you are, basically that we are love and light. So when you remember that, there's a light that shines inside of me. I could see it from my heart. So, that's kind of the physical that I visualize. But it all goes back to love. Fight this demon, give it love. Forgive it, not fight it. Just acknowledge it, give it love, forgive it, and release. It all goes back to love. Love is really the key of everything. Pretty simple. I'm like, wow, I went to Peru and back and traveled the world and have done all these different medicines, and to all go back to, it's very simple. It's love. Love is the answer to everything.
Yeah. And we get to understand that on a deeper level and on a deeper level and on a deeper level over time. It's really fascinating how often one could tell me, trust. I'm like, yeah, I know. I do trust.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not trusting.
Exactly.
So, be gentle with yourself. I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, how about what? Yeah, go ahead. Bring it on. Bring in all the wisdom. The tribe is waiting for your keys. Bring them in.
Because we are love. We're love and light. We're both things. So remember that. So love and light is since that's what we are, that's what kind of heals everything. That's your ammunition, really. So
yes, I love it. I love that. Okay, so let's take a glimpse into the future. Usually, when we talk about the future self, we want to have some information. It's like, hey, how is it? What can I do now? Or is all good? Kind of like finding the trust in the future, which is, we're not going to get into details. However, what I want to do right now is whatever version of you comes up, doesn't even need to be very specific. Just feel into it, as I know you do. Is there a message for your future self from where you are right now with all the wisdom, all the experiences, everything that you already have right here, right now? Anything that needs to be sent into your future timeline?
Just tapping into it. It's all going to work out. It's all you're going to, right now, you may not know what path to take. That's kind of the struggle I'm having right now, but it's telling me it's all going to work out. You're going to end up exactly where you need to be and help the people that you need to help and really fulfill your mission and your purpose in this lifetime that the reason you signed up for this one. And I feel that I'm getting closer to it, into that being in that vibration of I'm really doing what I need to be doing. And I'm doing it right now. I'm actually feeling that in my heart, but it really, it's all going to work out and all your dreams are going to be manifested. Oof, that was powerful.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So with the power, let's create some more power. Let's dive into let's actually use our powers, because everyone listening right now, listen up even more. Right now, at this point, we're almost done with this potent transmission from Mary Peru Goddess. We're going to create some magic. So I invite all of you, if you can, if that resonates, to bring your hands on your heart, connect with your heart, as we were talking about all the time right now. And we're going to take a couple of deep breaths while Mary, I ask you to think of one thing, and you have all the superpowers to change in the world. The only rule is it's in alignment. It's for the highest good of all. That's the only rule. Besides that, all we listening right now, we will just listen to what Mary is envisioning, wishing, creating, because where awareness goes, energy flows. And there are so many of us listening right now all over the world. And we're going to bring our energy into Mary's creation that is for our all highest good.
Oof, that's beautiful. So what I would love to shine in on and really send it love and is to all the children and even adults that right now are being held without their consent. They're being trafficked. I want to send them hope and love, and know that people out here that they don't even know are fighting for them. And I see in the future where every single person, every single child will be rescued and will heal this trauma and not be a waste of their life now, that this life is going to be meaningful, that even though they experience this, this life is still not wasted. We're going to rescue them, and we are going to help them heal and just shine their light even brighter. Like, that's the thing. Like, you were trying to dim them. No, they're now going to shine even brighter and emanate so much love. And that's the future that I see, where no one else is being held against their will, or things are being done to them that does not resonate and that they do not allow.
Let's take a deep inhale on that. And exhale through the mouth. Let's take another deep, deep inhale. Create all the space for the creation to take place. And then exhale it out into the world, into the universe. And may it all happen at the perfect time, in the perfect way. So that all beings are free and experience happiness and trust and hope and joy for the highest good of all, truly. In whatever way it's happening. It is happening right now because so many of us brought our awareness to it. So thank you, Tribe, for being here, for creating magic with us every single time in these interviews. It's so powerful. I cannot even tell you. That's, I think, why it's my favorite part almost, because we're all coming together as a tribe, truly. And that is so powerful. So thank you for doing that. And thank you, Mary, for bringing that up. Such a powerful vision and prayer. Thank you. So,
thank you.
Let's come to an end. We're going to come back. It's not an end. An end is just a beginning. But for now, I know there was so much powerful information and so many powerful quotes for everyone listening. So the last thing, I always invite you, come back to the episode. Just do yourself the favor. Come back, because there is so much that you won't remember, because it's just so much information now. And our brains are a little bit more limited than your limitless spirit that has soaked up all the information instantly. So come back whenever it resonates to really let it sink in. But for now, Mary, the last thing that I would love for you to share is one last key after all those potent keys that you already shared that is supporting all of us to open a door within us that takes us closer to who we truly are.
Yes. I'm going to share, coincidentally, today was the affirmation that I received from this app that I have that gives me affirmations every day. And I think it's perfectly aligned with our conversation today. And it goes, I allow myself to be myself. I allow myself to see myself. By being and seeing myself, I have no choice but to believe in myself.
Oh, I love that. I'm like melting here. So powerful. Oh, my heart. Now I can feel what you were talking about.
Yes.
This vibration in my heart. I feel it.
Yeah, it's like a little oomph in your heart. It's like you're giving your heart a little baby hug.
I love it. Thank you so much. That's so powerful. Super powerful.
Thank you.
So thank you again for making the time and for sharing all of that so openly and with such a powerful energy as you, that's just who you are. And if people want to reach out and find you, be more inspired by you, or maybe you guys have questions, whatever it is, we're going to put it in the show notes, on the website, and everywhere. You know us by now. And if it's your first time, welcome, first of all. And just check out our website or Instagram, wherever you find us, and you'll find all the information of Mary. However, if you want to jump off your phone right away, where can people find you, Mary?
You can find me on Instagram, Mary J, MaryJ 1156.
Of course, 11. Of course. Yeah. I love that. Super powerful. Thank you so much for all of that. I'm gonna go and meditate now and integrate everything that we were talking about. So powerful. I just love having these potent conversations with you, and I love everyone here that you're making the time to join us and to be open to receive the informations and the codes. It's really all codes. And the ones that are most important for you are being activated. Those are the things that you remember, maybe not even on a mental level, but in your heart. Through this conversation, you could feel it, right? You already had the chance to practice the powerful tool that Mary shared. You could feel it in your heart. Oh yeah, that feels good. Oh yeah, I should try that. Oh, I need to look into that. So thank you for doing that. Because after all, you're not here because of me, the Self Care Vortex, or Mary. We're all beautiful and powerful and amazing and inspiring. Yeah, I know. Kidding. But, wow, you're truly here because of yourself. Because you want to grow, you want to learn, you want to expand. That's why we all are listening to specific videos, podcasts, music, all of that. Your soul guided you here. Your soul wanted you to listen to Mary and what she had to say today. So trust in that. You can feel it in your heart. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Mary, for being here. If there are any last words, that's your space.
Thank you so much for sharing this platform with me. And I hope I planted little seeds in our listeners, and to trust, really trust, and know that all the answers are within you. And I know it's hard to go within, but trust that you're capable of doing that.
Absolutely.
Leave it with that.
I love that. Thank you. Oh, you planted a lot of seeds. Also, let us know. Like, share the episode, share the seed that was planted, or maybe the beautiful flower that grew out of it. Who knows? Over time, we would love to see that. We would love to hear that. We love everyone sharing the episodes and your takeaways. It's really, really powerful to see that. So thank you so much. And if there's anyone else that you think of that's like, this person needs to listen to that, please share it as well. Bring it on. Like, share the messages. Knowledge is only as powerful as we make it by either using it and or sharing it. So if you want to stay here for the alchemy of words, you're so welcome to stay here for a couple of more moments and then go and integrate, breathe, go out in nature, whatever it takes for you to ground in all the potent magic of Mary Peru Goddess.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sending you all so much love.
Up and healing, and it never stops, guys. It really does it, but it gets easier.
It does. It does. Because we stop resisting.
For real.
I love it. Okay. Adios.
Your frequency has risen.
As always, I'll end the episode with an alchemy of words. Get ready for a powerful, inspiring quote or a channeled message from my higher self for you. But first, I want to thank you. Thank you for making the time for yourself today. You aren't listening to this because of me or anyone else on here, but because you are here for yourself. Because you're ready to grow and expand your knowledge, and because you love yourself so much that you took the time out of your day, even though you have so much to do. Making self-care our number one priority and committing to unconditionally love and trust ourselves and life is what really empowers us to make an impact in the world around us. If you know someone who you think is ready to step into their power, someone who needs to maybe remember that they are enough, or that you would simply love to have as a part of this tribe, invite them and share the Self-Care Vortex with them. Thank you for being a conscious creator of your life and the world we live in. Today's Alchemy of Words. Today's Alchemy of Words is by poet, musician, artist Adam Broa and his book Cosmic Philosophy. With an open heart and an open mind, I invite you to receive this potent alchemy of words. Deep feeling is a powerful healer. It allows someone the opportunity to move through their past and be in the present. But their willingness to dive into this feeling is directly correlated to the hope they can see on the other side of these emotions. Hope for what may be possible. Hope that they will be okay. Give the people hope and they will feel more deeply. Help them feel more deeply and they will heal.